Hey guys, and welcome to another flight review with me, Dooley. Today we are flying from Zurich to Bangkok with Saudi Arabian Airlines via Riyadh. Coming in at under $450 per person, this is absolutely one of the cheapest ways to fly to Bangkok. Now, this was actually at the end of Ramadan, and so our thinking was that usually Muslims will probably not be traveling during Ramadan, and if they are, it's for religious reasons, which means they will be flying to Jeddah, which is where you must fly into if you're going on pilgrimage. And so we were willing to risk seeing if this flight was pretty empty. And as my wife was quite pregnant actually, we decided to bid on having the middle seat free. And we did win the bid, but as you will see, it was actually not needed for this leg at least. Now, if you wanted to fly business class, you could have bid 450 euros per person for the single leg from Zurich to Jeddah, which is basically the price of the entire flight that we paid to Bangkok and back. It did look very inviting when we walked past it, but considering that if we'd upgraded all the legs, it would have cost over 2,000, I think it was 2,500 francs extra, we decided that we were just going to, sit it out in economy. This turned out to be the right choice, and in fact, like I said, I regretted even bidding for the middle seat free, because on this flight, every single person on the plane got 3 seats to themselves. And yeah, our assumption was quite right. There were no people flying to Riyadh, but if you want to know what it was like flying from Riyadh to Bangkok, that was a totally different story. But first, let's see how this flight is. And as you can see, my wife getting ready for her 5.5-hour flight, and we did buy quite a few things. One must always be prepared in economy. One knows not how many snacks or drinks or whatever you'll get, and so my wife came very well prepared. And for those who have been following me for a while will absolutely agree that I have been eating very much. Yes, once your wife is pregnant, it seems that you as a husband also becomes pregnant. Anyway, back to the flight. One thing that we were both very excited to see was the individual air nozzles. This is something that some airlines don't have and is an absolute nightmare. And if you're pregnant, you really do need that extra cooling and direct airflow. Anyway, let's have a look at the table here. Quite a little table, sturdy. As you can see, my legs are not especially long, which means I got loads of space. Anyone with, let's say, regularly proportioned body would probably have 2 or 3 centimeters at most, between your knees and the seat ahead of you. Underneath, you can see that every single seat has its own little power supply with a USB port too. This was super useful. We definitely charged our phones the whole way, which was no problem as we all had so many seats. I also thought that the screen was quite good, and as you can see, there's another USB port there that you can charge your phone if you don't want to charge it from below. The IFE was quite okay. It was not the most responsive, but the quality of the screen was quite good. A little bit jerky, but definitely more than enough for a 5.5-hour flight. And they did have, movies from all over the world, so someone's bound to find something for them there. Anyway, let's move on to the amenity kit, which I thought looked really beautiful. Not quite the usual, like a little case or something, but I did like the design. I liked that it came from a specific region of Saudi Arabia, and the little socks there actually quite nice too. Little grippy aeroplane parts there, definitely something to add. Not quite as amazing as there used to be. Their amenity kits, they used to come with a lot more stuff, but everyone's saving money these days, it seems. Anyway, this was the pillow, which I thought was, even though small, quite good. And there on the right hand side you can also see the green blankets, which were not the thickest, but adequate for this 6-hour hop. And now that I'm shaped like an obese pear, you can see what it's like for someone of a very large size to be sitting in the seats. So having the middle seat free is a very, very nice option to have at 70 francs per leg. It's about $85. We also bought a few extra bits from Amazon, which were really useful. This little phone holder, because Yang likes to watch her Vietnamese shows, so the IFE was not good enough for her. I'll show you a few other things. Here's an inflatable backrest for my dear wife, a lumbar support. This thing actually was great. She really, really, really liked this. It really helped her, and I used it too for a bit. I also thought it was really great. It really shapes to your back quite well and makes it very comfortable. Indeed, you can see that we're quite spoiled with our business class flights and trying to turn our economy experience into something more than it is. But we were quite happy to receive some hot towels. Sure, they were paper towels in a big pot that was steaming, but pretty soon we were flying over the Swiss Alps. It was around this time that I was feeling extremely smug for having chosen this specific airline to fly on, thanks to the whole Ramadan story. And I was very happy to see my wife lying down. She was super comfortable. She even had like an inflatable footrest that she could pump up to double the size, so that it was like a little extension for her feet. And I also prepared my own poor man's business class, as you can see. Just put a cover across 3 seats. Got my charging ports at the bottom there, Wi-Fi, and yeah, managed to sleep for at least a couple of hours. But mainly just enjoying lying down, and the fact that the seats are quite flat made it quite comfortable. You know, they're no ridges, or at least not perceivable ridges between the seats, especially with that little very thin blanket on there, made it very comfortable. Definitely would fly like this again, but at this point I didn't know what was in store for me later. Nonetheless, this is a route I would definitely try again, especially during Ramadan, as I do think that anyone flying from Switzerland to Saudi Arabia is unlikely to be going to Saudi Arabia if they're going to Riyadh. Here I am, very happy in my seat. As you can see, the staff I think also loved the fact that this plane was quite empty. They were super friendly, in very, very good mood, and yeah, had a great chat with some of them. But they just loved it, I think. I mean, I would love it too if I could, you know, go to work and have less than 10% of the work that I have to do. Anyway, as for the food, I was really happy with this food. It was, we ordered chicken, and we're like, where the hell is the chicken? The chicken is under the rice. But apart from the bread was, I can't even explain it. It was like a brick. But the rice and the chicken, both of us were really impressed with that. We also got some snacks like this little crunchy thing, or you could get some crisps. And pretty soon we were arriving in Riyadh. This flight really, really flew by, and we were very excited for our second flight from Riyadh to Bangkok. Now, arriving was not really a problem. The airport in Riyadh is amazing. If you want to have a look at the lounge that we went into using our priority pass, you can check that video out next week. But all in all, this route during Ramadan seems to be amazing. Now, deboarding was like this, but boarding for the second flight, well, that's where the drama began. This flight was absolutely jam-packed, and we were lucky enough to have the middle seat free between us thanks to our bid that we had put in, because on the whole plane there were about 3 empty seats, and one of them was between us. But this flight, and as you can see, it's also a bigger plane, the 333 configuration. This flight was just terrible. And not necessarily because of the hardware. The hardware was pretty okay, actually. The main issue was the amount of very badly behaved passengers, let's say. Specifically children, which of course we can't really blame. We've got to blame the parents. But it was absolute chaos. Food being thrown around, you know, no one sleeping, because the flight leaves at like 2 a.m. So we were hoping to get some sleep, but yeah, it wasn't happening. And as you can see, the seats here are actually, if possible, narrower than the small body aeroplane that we flew from Zurich to Saudi Arabia, and the tables here even smaller and flimsier. So I was not really impressed. Also, what was really not great was the fact that the temperature in the plane was just way too hot on this leg. So, you know, cramped seats. I mean, I'm saying cramped even though our middle seat was free. And only one plug, unlike the other plane. There was only one power plug in the middle seat. So if you're sitting on the window seat or aisle seat, I don't know how you're going to be charging your stuff there. And here's another one of our... You know, we bought a whole bunch of these little accessories to see what actually works, and this thing was actually really useful. Many of these things just seem like gimmicks, and I thought, you know, why not, let's try them out. Almost every single thing we bought was really worth it. This thing definitely helped a lot. If If you don't have excessively long legs, then this thing really helps to like keep your knees a little bit higher. It just feels very comfortable. But unfortunately, this did not detract from the utter chaos on this plane. And yeah, it's not something that the flight attendants can really do much about when there's just 100 screaming, yelling children who are throwing food about and so on. And for both of us, it was, you know, actually stressful enough that we ended up not taking the return flight. That's also partially because my wife felt much more pregnant on the way back, as it was about 3 weeks later, and we did find a last minute business class flight for her from Bangkok to Zurich direct, and I just flew economy. You can check out that video too. But I would say that all in all, if you are, you know, more interested in saving money and you are prepared for the chaos that happens on the last leg, then this would be a very good way to fly, because you do have one amazing experience and one less than stellar experience. But it did you know, it doesn't make sense definitely financially. But if I was traveling with a friend, I would 100% take this flight again, and I would definitely bid the 70 Swiss francs or 70 euros that it costs per leg to make sure you have the middle seat free. I mean, saying make sure is not quite true, because they only, you know, confirm it in the morning of your flight, and you will be assigned to perhaps to 2 new seats with the middle seat free. But it's 100% worth it, because paying, you know, 280 euros or dollars or Swiss francs more to ensure that you and your buddy or you and your flight partner have a middle seat free is a very, very good offer. So yeah, was it good? Yes and no. I'll let you decide if you think it's worth taking this flight. I obviously did not film all the kids screaming and shouting and going, you know, crazy in there, but I think you can, you know, imagine what that's like. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed that flight review. If you did, please like and subscribe, and you know, let me know if you also had some terrible experiences in planes, especially with children. And I hope to see you next week. See you there.